You are joining Making a Difference with Melissa Clark, a show that shares the compelling stories and voices of well-known and everyday people who change the world in big and small ways. Enjoy our guests, call in, or just listen to be inspired. For this show was made with you in mind. Please join us every Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with our special guests. And you can listen to our recast at www.melissaclarkshow.com.
Aesha, we are so excited to be with you today. I would love to introduce Aesha Waks. She is an amazing human being. She is a model, an actress. She suffered from borderline anorexia, bulimia, dysmorphia. For those of you who are not familiar with the differences, anorexia is self-starvation. Bulimia is an eating disorder where you eat as much as you can at once, also known as binge eating, and then you regurgitate your food, so you vomit your food up. Tell us the reasoning behind bulimia, please.
Well, a lot of people become bulimic because then whatever calorie input you're taking in, you're immediately getting rid of. I personally was desperately trying to become bulimic, but I couldn't make myself throw up. Mm-hmm. And the amount of nerves and acid indigestion that I gave myself from the pressure of looking a certain way actually like mentally triggered me to just vomit. Most of the time that I ate, I had to run to the bathroom and just vomit on my own, but I couldn't do it on my own. It was a mental thing. Mm-hmm. For me.
Did you give yourself issues with your esophagus?
I was a failed bulimic. I didn't have issues because I wasn't successful at making myself vomit. But I was successful at binging and starving, and I was on the borderline of anorexia, a step away from going to the hospital, and I had a body dysmorphia, workaholicism as well.
What does being dysmorphic mean?
It's just you just feel like you're fat. I was around 90 pounds and I thought I was fat because if you could pinch an inch, you got weight on you that you got to get off as a model, and that's just the way I saw it.
Mm-hmm. So when you looked in the mirror, you saw a big person.
I saw
you didn't see a 90-pound girl
to lose weight.
Yeah,
that's what I saw.
Mm-hmm. And how long have you been clear of this disease? Because it is a disease.
Yeah, many years. The less you eat, the less you want to eat, the more your stomach shrinks, and it gets to a point where you kind of like have trouble swallowing after a while. Like your body is not used to ingesting food, so when you finally do eat, it's like not easy to swallow. It wasn't easy for me to start eating again.
Mm-hmm. And what measures did you take to get yourself well? What did you have to go through?
Yeah, I mean, it got to a certain point where I looked so thin that my mom started noticing that there was something off about me. And she said, I'm going to take you to the hospital. I'll put you on intravenous. I'm going to force you to eat if you don't start eating. And it was actually difficult for me to start eating, but how I began the journey of healing myself is I started reading every magazine, every book, everything I could get my hands on. And I started journaling because I noticed while I was reading the books that there was like a lot of similarities with these lifestyle plans. And then I also started noticing that there was a lot of differences. And I'm like, how can it be so different to maintain a healthy lifestyle in this book than it is from that book? And that's when I started picking up the fads and like the selling points of the books that weren't necessarily just for science, but like to sell a scheme. And this journal that I kept that gave me the confidence to start eating again and having control over my own body. That is what became the book that I wrote, which was the Model Body Plan, which is on barnesandnoble.com right now.
Sure. And you're an author. You became an author after all this, after your
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, I did. And I took it upon myself to pull out a couple of books that I wrote. We have 4 right here so far. And it did trigger me into becoming an author. And it didn't just start me on becoming an author, but I actually went ahead and got my personal training degree, my advanced personal training degree, and my sports nutrition certification through IFPA. And I got my own class at the YMCA, and I helped many people since cure themselves.
Why did you feel the need to start your own books? I mean, you didn't trust what these people were saying in the books that you were reading?
I'll tell you, yes, good question. I had to read so many books to get the information I needed to know how to control my body and my image that it took me so many years to read all of these books and articles. I figured I would just compact it into one little book that a person could read and be good to go with.
So that was, sorry?
To save them the trouble of doing the research that I did.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. That's pretty cool. It's like going to a store and you can't find the clothes that you want, so you make your own.
One-stop shop.
One-stop shop. I like that. So the Model Body, that was your first book.
Yes.
And how did you feel after it was published and people read it? Did you receive people saying, hey, listen, this really helped me out?
Yes, and a lot of clients at the YMCA had gotten my book as well, and I've helped many people for years over at the YMCA, and people started coming to me and asking me questions all the time, and it got to a point where there wasn't a question I wasn't able to answer. That's how educated I got myself.
Beautiful, beautiful. How are you feeling today?
Completely 100% in control. Of the way I look, my body. I have zero fears about food, about aging, about ever gaining weight. And I can't wait to help more people.
Do you have a nice relationship with food right now?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it had to be like a love-hate relationship with food. I mean,
it was awful. Absolutely awful. Yeah.
Now you're an actress. I looked at your IMDb and you have a long list of films that you were in. Has a casting agent ever told you to lose weight for a role?
No, I was never told that, but I saw myself on camera and how the camera added 10 pounds in pictures and video. And I did it to myself because I wanted to be the best. And I'm very competitive too. And I didn't want anything to hold me back. I had to go to the best schools, be with it, with fashion, on top of the game with my auditions, the way I looked. I had to kill it in every way. And that was something that was self-imposed.
So today, how is your control with yourself? Is it different? Do you look at yourself differently? And
anything that I feel I need work on, I'm working on. I don't let anything go.
In a healthy way.
Of course.
Yeah. So now with all the advocates out there for living your best life, loving yourself with stars like Ashley Graham, do you think that young girls and boys for that matter accept themselves in this day and age? 2021. I mean, we've come a long way. We have our first vice woman president. So how do you think these kids feel now?
You know, now that there's body positive modeling agencies out there, plus size models, and basically categories for just about every type of model and actor out there, you would think that people would feel more accepted. But with that also came along social media platforms such as Instagram, filters, where people could never look too perfect. So now that we're body positive, now we have the filters to deal with. And in real life, people aren't feeling as secure because they don't have their editing systems in real life.
That's my next question, you know, about the filters. So you're saying that, when you're correcting your body with these filters, you think it's dangerous that these apps are out there?
They're good for catfishing because you never get to see what the person looks like in real life. But
Right.
I look at it as a form of art. Doesn't come with a warning at the bottom of the picture.
Right.
Doesn't really say, this isn't what I really look like. But, any model that wants to put their filter on, they're going to have to deal with people looking at them in person being like, you don't look the same.
That's
I
got to
wouldn't
be
want to
very,
deal with
now that has to be very embarrassing. You
know.
say you filtered out your whole face. So you've made it skinnier, or you took away your acne. You
Right.
took away the things that make you you. And here you are going to meet somebody in person and they're looking at you. It's like, you can't do that. Like it's
I
just,
know.
it's embarrassing,
It is.
that happened to me once, and I walked to him, said, I'm sorry. First, you're being very dishonest with who you are right now, and you're not being true to you. So I don't feel like I'm the right person to associate myself with you. Not that, no, I'm not saying I'm perfect by all means, but it's something I just wouldn't do. And somebody actually helped me with, not putting filters on my, on my pictures. And, I'm like, oh, well, my nose can be a little bit more thinner, or but so it's not,
Yeah.
it's a dangerous, it can be dangerous if if you want to touch up here and there and just put a little glow on you. I can understand that, but
Instead of makeup, if you don't have time to do makeup, or maybe you want like a mood lighting,
yeah.
I like Snapchat because when you put like the animal nose and ears on you, for example, you obviously know it's a filter, so that's your warning right there. But
Right.
those apps that you could actually change the way you look, maybe for fun, but people take them so seriously.
They do, and they use them as regular photos, and
Yeah.
that's where we go wrong. And they do that in the magazines as well. So I like Ashley Graham. She doesn't hold anything back.
I like her too.
Yeah, she's cool. So Swipe is your latest book. It has an interesting concept under quarantine. What's the book about?
This is Sway.
Mm-hmm.
And what I did is a research project because I was curious, why is everyone talking about these swipe sites, and what is this all about? And it's almost like going shopping for people. I couldn't believe it. And basically, I did so many experiments, so many interviews, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like a meat market. It's worse than the club scene. I couldn't believe it. I was doing compares, contrasts. I was doing polls.
Mm-hmm.
I was asking people for their personal stories, and it's just horrible out there. That's a whole other story. But what this book is really geared to do is to teach people what's out there, not teach people how to manipulate, but understand what a manipulator looks like so you could avoid these types of people in the world, and learn how to like retain your self-confidence and your self-respect while living in the millennium. And there's a lot of tips in here that I just wanted to help people understand.
I like that a lot. That's coming from your generation helping out this generation. Our generation helping out this generation. I like that.
Yeah.
These kids, well, not kids, but these people in their 20s. What are they called? Millennials? Millennials. They need our advice a little bit. Who knows? They don't like.
I know, like, I mean, my grandfather was a man at 16.
Yeah.
These days, I can't even say that men are men at 46 or even 56.
No. This could be a whole other topic. We'll get into another time.
Another time, sorry.
About dating and everything. But what advice? I didn't ask you. How long did you have the disease of bulimia and borderline anorexia? How long did you have that for?
Primarily borderline anorexia for many years, incrementally. I mean, I wasn't just like waking up one day being 90 pounds. I started off like at 120. I mean, it took me years for my mom to notice that I had an issue.
Mm-hmm.
But once I figured it out throughout the months, slowly but surely, I started getting rid of my fear of food and creating a great relationship to food and myself and self-love. And once it stuck, it never went away.
Did you have any of your friends tell you, hey, listen, I think you have a problem if you're doing this? Did anybody confront you?
I mean, people were telling me how skinny I looked all the time, and I was kind of like flattered by it. But I mean, I got so skinny, it became like a problem. Like I got a little too good at not eating, and I needed to start eating again, and I needed to start developing a healthy relationship with food. And I could share one of the epiphanies I had. I call it the Oreo cookie theory. Or we could just call it the cookie theory because we don't want to like use any like names of any brands or anything like that. But basically, I would starve all day. Sometimes I'd be in the gym all day. And then when everyone went to sleep at night, I would eat the whole box of Oreo cookies. No one would know. And then I'd wake up the next day, I'd starve. No one would see me eat anything. And the thing that was so weird was I woke up one day and I'm just like, I'm not gaining any weight. And I just ate a whole box of cookies. And that's when I read the calorie content of the cookies. And I added that with how many calories I burned on the Stairmaster.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned out that someone of my height was allowed, let's just say approximately like 1,200 calories.
Mm-hmm.
So you take the amount of calories I ate with the cookies, you minus how much I burned on the Stairmaster, and I was actually eating what I was allowed to eat that day as far as calorie intake. Health-wise, no, I wasn't getting the nutrients, but calorie-wise, that I wasn't gaining at that point because I was eating what I was supposed, calorie-wise, what I was supposed to eat. And that's when I was like, wait a minute, I shouldn't be afraid of cookies anymore. I should actually be eating the amount of calories I am supposed to be having every day, but in a healthy way and dispersed throughout the day, like 4 times a day. And I'm actually not going to get fat. And I'm not going to become obese. Like I'm afraid I'm going to become a whale. But actually, I could just eat the amount of calories I'm allowed every day and I'm not going to gain weight. And if sometimes I need to replace the meal with cookies because that's what I'm craving, I'm not going to wait till everyone goes to sleep in the middle of the night. I'm going to replace one of my meals with it, and I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to try not to do it again that week. And it worked for me, and the cookie was not the enemy anymore. It was myself.
Right. Very nice. Congratulations. I'm glad that you found yourself with that. Not many people do. I always think of Karen Carpenter, who from the Beautiful the Carpenters, and she died of I guess complications of anorexia.
I wish I could have helped.
Yeah. Well, you're helping people now. What advice would you, thank you very much. What advice would you give to people who are going through bulimia and anorexia right now? Anorexia.
I think when it comes to eating disorders, there's pretty much like a certain way that certain women want to look, and they just want to feel like they're in control of their body. They don't want to be out of control. They don't want to start eating something and then eat the whole thing. They don't want to turn into like a whale. It's like these enormous fears. And what I'd love to do is kind of start from scratch and kind of find out, what do these people actually want to look like? What are these people's Achilles heel? Like what food do they just never want to give up? And how could we like implement having a little bit of that in their plan? And how could we allow them to eat with pleasure? Because when you feel pleasure, you feel serotonin, you feel endorphins, you're digesting your food, you're living a happy and joyous life with balance, and you're having some of the things that you want to have too.
Right.
But people that like get rid of too many things that are pleasures and joys for themselves, and they go like too strict, they end up breaking it and then just going crazy. So I'd find a way for these people to find a way to have a little bit more balance in their life, and I would start them from scratch and write out a plan, and I'd gear it around not making them fat, but making them like a healthy weight that on a chart in a doctor's office that they're actually like passing the test of being healthy. Like you have to be that. Sorry, like I don't care how thin a person wants to look, they got to be healthy.
Right.
And if they don't want to weigh more than a healthy weight, that's on them. But like being under the radar and actually being considered an anorexic weight, that's not cool for any reason, for any way, shape, or form. you could start eating again, but you could supplement. Let's just say your modeling agency needs you to be like a certain weight. You could go to the gym, you could lift weights, body sculpting, meal replacements, more running, but you could still be healthy. And it'd make that the focus and the starting point.
Thank you so much. So they can find your book, The Model Body, at Amazon.
Yeah, and Barnes & Noble.
And Barnes. Thank you so much. So you have a poem that actually was in a film that Angelina Jolie produced called Lovesick. And we love our poets on here. I've had poets all over the country, all over the world, globally. So thank you so much. We'd love to hear it.
So this poem, I won an award at my college, my original college, Kingsborough. Before I got into NYU, one of the reasons I got into NYU.
Thank you very much, Aesha Waks. Reading, what is the title of this?
The Midnight Hour. I was a poet first and foremost, and I'm still a songwriter and a rapper and a lyricist, and it's one of my biggest loves and joys in life. That's why I was so happy that you have such a high interest in poetry here. It's like my thing. So
thank you so much. Yeah, you're the jack of all trades. Please, let's enjoy this. Ladies and gentlemen, Aesha Waks.
The clock struck 12. No one could make me go to bed, and I had an idea that my memories would soon be fed. Band-aids are temporarily my life. Tobacco and sugar, now my med. To only live in the present, don't let the now be dead. Let answers and keys be known again and again, I said. Release the knowledge now, immediately, so I could go to bed. My room adorned in club-style swinger candles, music fled. Sweet old man in my bed, mannequin-style Fleetwood Mac silence, dead, wake up, wake up. Play the role of my club. Listen to my poem be read. Play with me till dawn. Don't let your head be like lead. Let my mind be your Zed. July won't hear my song, so it fills my heart with empty long. Oh, be with me in my moment of need. Hear my cry, you sleepy steed. When I am up, you are down. When I am down, you are a clown. When will I ever sever the pleasure of endless moments and words that clever? So savor the moments now or leave us. Fill your lungs with smoke, achieve us. Pleasure the splendor of time, for it's sublime, for the very few we are together. But I haven't a clue. Where are those poetic moments on the beach I preach, or creativity unleash? My mind is like bleach. I'm painting with glue of what's ahead. Please, oh please, don't make me go to bed. I want to feel at peace with Zed. Oh pain, I am the dead. I wake up startled in my bed. I cry for fulfillment in my little head. Off in your dream world tomorrow you cry. Cigarettes are like drugs for my mind. I'll let them go in time. What a crime. When summer's over, I'll turn a leaf of fall. Soul at peace, but bodies cry. Oh, serpent of the day, leave your prey to fray at night. Hold on to me like a kite. I bite the night with no fright. I suck it through my candlelight like a vampire. Its blood will bring you life. Be good boys and girls when fall ignites. It's still summer, abuse its delight. Find your soul alone at night. Search for the light. I'm sure you'll delight. Oh sleep, I like this world when I know it will leave out of sight. Hold me now. Connect your body and soul without fright. Please conquer me, night. Stop. No, don't.
Are you looking to better your life but need a little more motivation? Contact leadership and life coach Ben Pappas at coaching@benpappas.com. That's coaching at benpappas.com.
When Dogs Fly is a coloring book for adults and a meditation guide. It can help you de-stress your life. Pick one up at Amazon today.
Making a Difference is sponsored by Preferred Health Magazine. Please visit www.preferredhealthmagazine.com today and subscribe.